blazes away, but Congress goes mute. On the back foot or avoiding the BJP trap? The big focus on 5 Live. So the Prime Minister for the last 72 hours has been blazing non-stop about the Congress manifesto on wealth redistribution. He's been linking it to priority allocations for the Muslim community, etc. But the Congress party, which you thought would have engaged, come on to debates and fired back in equal measure at the Congress party, is conspicuously muted on this particular issue. Here on Debates on India Today, not on this show but on other shows, the Congress has refused to even appear to take on the BJP on what the Prime Minister has said. And I have an answer today on 5 Live on why that might be. I'm Shiv. Thanks for being with me. These are the headlines. Hanuman Chalisa showdown reignites on Hanuman Jayanti. Prime Minister Modi invokes Bengaluru shopkeeper assault. Says Congress insulting Lord Ram and Hanuman. Congress hits back, claims BJP ignoring real issues.
कांग्रेस के राज में हनुमान चालीसा सुनना भी गुनाह हो जाता है.
Big constitution face-off erupts in Goa. Congress Neta claims constitution has been forced on Goans. Prime Minister Modi hits back, says Congress has insulted the constitution, calls it a well-planned move by the Congress to break the country.
त्यांना प्रेसिडेंट नवो प्रेसिडेंट झाला काँग्रेसाचो ताणे आमकां इन्विटेशन धाडले मातसो आमचो राहुल गांधी येता ही वॉज देन द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ काँग्रेस पार्टी सिद्धार्थ गोवान आयिल्लो आनी आमकां म्हणपा लागलो मातशें तुमी येवन ताचे कडेन डिस्कशन करा. आमी 12 प्रश्न मांडले.
Big Tamil Nadu showdown over a murder during the elections. Annamalai claims woman murdered for voting for BJP, claims DMK goons assaulted the victim over her vote. Delhi Chief Minister administered insulin in jail. AIMS panel confirms Arvind Kejriwal's sugar levels have shot up. Aam Aadmi Party holds insulin protest. Big breakthrough in the Salman Khan residence shooting case. 2 pistols, 3 magazines recovered from Tapi River. Shooters dumped weapons in the Gujarat River while fleeing.
Co-presented by
आपका जॉय भारत का जॉय जॉय ई-बाइक.
Co-presented by
ग्रीन लैम लैमिनेट्स कुछ मेरा कुछ तुम्हारा. Powered by MP Birla Cement Perfect Plus Concrete Special.
Co-powered by
Parul University Vadodara Gujarat. Co-powered by Panasonic AC for smart homes. Signature Finest Silver Elaichi, a premium product from Dilbar. Supreme Total Piping Solutions, जीवन भर का साथ.
The BJP under Prime Minister Modi has dismissed the Congress party as a spent force and talked about a Congress Mukt Bharat. But for the last 72 hours, it is one thing that has dominated the Prime Minister's agenda in all his speeches and rallies in different parts of the country, and that is the Congress's manifesto, specifically one part of it which guarantees wealth redistribution in the country. This time, Prime Minister Modi has escalated his attack, accusing the Congress of aiming to seize assets and distribute them, targeting women's savings, ancestral lands and homes. In the backdrop of this massive war of words, the Congress has accused the Prime Minister of trying to divert attention of people by giving a hate speech, but it's gone even beyond that now. Take a look at this.
The manifesto war escalates. Prime Minister Narendra Modi once again targeted the Congress manifesto at a rally in Tonk, Rajasthan. He claimed the Congress and India bloc are jittery after re-exposed their appeasement politics.
हमारी माताओं बहनों के पास जो स्त्री धन होता है, जो मंगलसूत्र होता है, उसका सर्वे करेंगे। और फिर उनके एक नेता ने तो भाषण में कहा एक्सरे किया जाएगा, आपकी सारी संपत्ति जरूरत से ज्यादा जो भी होगा वो उनका कब्जा करेगी उनकी सरकार, कहते हैं, और फिर लोगों को बांट देंगे। राजस्थान में से एक भी पंजा बचना नहीं चाहिए भाइयों। मनमोहन सिंह जी ने भाषण किया था और उस सभा में मैं मौजूद था मुख्यमंत्री के नाते। मुस्लिमों का देश के संसाधनों पर पहला हक है। कांग्रेस पार्टी की सोच हमेशा से तुष्टीकरण की रही है, वोट बैंक की राजनीति की रही है।
The Congress rejected Modi's claims on wealth redistribution in its manifesto. It accused the Prime Minister of trying to divert people's attention from real issues.
डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी देश के प्रधानमंत्री थे। उन्होंने किसके इशारे पर कहा था कि देश के संसाधनों पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है? आप देश को मुसलमान और गैर मुसलमान के नाम पर, अल्पसंख्यक और बहुसंख्यक के नाम पे बांटना चाहते हैं।
कौन सा मुस्लिम लीग का इशू है उसमें? सबको, सब महिला को 1-1 लाख रुपए सालाना देना, ये मुस्लिम लीग का है प्रोग्राम। युवाओं को नौकरी देना, ट्रेनिंग देना और उनको 1 लाख रुपए ट्रेनिंग के लिए देना, ये मुस्लिम लीग का है। बोलो आप कौन सा मुस्लिम लीग का है? अरे 25 गारंटी हमने जो दी सबके लिए दिए हैं, गरीब के लिए है, महिला के लिए है, युवाओं के लिए है, दलित के लिए है, सबके लिए हमने दिया है।
Opposition leaders termed Prime Minister Modi's remarks objectionable and highly deplorable.
ओहदे पर फायज होने के बावजूद भी नरेंद्र मोदी को इस तरह की इनडिग्निफाइड बातें करनी पड़ रही हैं। आप डर पैदा कर रहे हैं कि मुसलमान ओवरटेक कर लेंगे, तो इस तरह का बयान देना ये तो इनका कंसिस्टेंट है। और ये गारंटी उनकी एक जरूर है कि 1% लोगों को उन्होंने 40% दौलत दी है।
Sharad Pawar compared Modi to Hitler and Putin.
आंतरराज्यकर्ता पूर्ण रशियाचं प्रशासन, रशियाची शासन यंत्रणा आणि त्या व्यक्तीचं नाव पुतीन. आज या देशामध्ये मोदींच्या रूपानं नवीन पुतीन तयार होतं का काय ही चिंता या देशाच्या जनतेला आहे.
India bloc allies are demanding the Election Commission act against Prime Minister Modi for his remarks, which they described as hate speech. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now remember, Rahul Gandhi has been out of action for the last few days owing to a health ailment. He's had to cancel some of his rallies. But the fact that Prime Minister Modi has picked up on a guarantee that Rahul Gandhi made at this particular press conference during the release of the party's manifesto and has been hammering in public event after public event should surely come as some kind of affirmation for the Congress party. But strangely, the Congress party has gone silent. They've gone and complained to the Election Commission. There are a handful of social media posts and a few sound bites, but the Congress party isn't hitting back at Prime Minister Modi in the way that you probably would have thought they would, given that it is the Congress manifesto that we are talking about and what the Prime Minister has referred to in his speech. I'd like to tell all of our viewers that in debates across the network and on many channels, the Congress has refused to send its representatives, and therefore the issue hasn't even been debated with actual Congress spokespersons. That's where things actually stand. But I want to get some clarity on what this really means. Is this going to be a big flashpoint ahead of the elections, a big resonant issue that the Congress can hold on to and run with by not engaging with the Prime Minister? That's a big question that people are still curious about. And joining me live is India's #1 political reporter, the most respected voice when it comes to elections, especially Rajdeep Sardesai, a consulting editor. Rajdeep, thank you for your time. My first question, Rajdeep, around this this whole flashpoint between the Prime Minister and the Congress party over the wealth distribution issue, the Prime Minister referring to Muslims over, the earlier speech today, it was a little different. Has the Congress, in your view, Rajdeep, consciously decided not to engage on Modi's attack and be drawn into a religion-based conversation?
Thanks very much, Shiv. Yes, I think the Congress has realized that engaging with Mr. Modi on a Hindu-Muslim issue is subject to diminishing returns, which is why, while they've gone to the Election Commission on the speech made by the Prime Minister in Banswara and claimed that it is a clear violation of the Model Code of Conduct, you will see that in their speeches and their public pronouncements, the Congress isn't, as of now, engaging with the BJP and the Prime Minister on the comments that he made in Banswara, which the party says prima facie amounts to hate speech. So there is a recognition shift somewhere down the line. The Congress has seen this in the past, that whenever you engage on a seemingly polarizing issue, it is advantage to the Prime Minister and the BJP, because you're then playing on their pitch, on their turf. And I think that's something that the opposition is trying its very best to resist in this election, because that will only lead to polarization and distract from what the opposition believes are the real issues, be it unemployment, be it rising prices, where they believe they are in a position to put the government on the mat.
Rajdeep, do the last 2-3 speeches by Modi, including the one you referred to in Banswara, do they show that the Congress is finally in some way controlling the conversation? Because after all, it is the Congress's manifesto that is sort of dominating Modi's rally speeches now.
Look, Shiv, I think what happened is that the Congress and the opposition started this campaign a couple of weeks ago to save the constitution. Samvidhan ko bachana hai. And made the point repeatedly, particularly after the BJP brought out its manifesto, that the BJP was looking at this election as one from where they could change the constitution. And they claimed that the BJP intended to change the constitution and thereby deny reservations to backward caste, SC and STs over time.
Yes.
This has been a campaign which has now spread particularly across North and Central India. I think the BJP has recognized that this is a campaign that can get traction if not challenged. And I do believe, therefore, that what you're seeing in the Prime Minister's speeches is an attempt to shift the goalposts, to go back to some of the more polarizing issues, also question the Congress's claims on the Constitution itself, re-emphasize the point that this is a party that brought in emergency, and try and send out the message that there is no question of the BJP tinkering with reservations or the Constitution. To that extent, Shiv, I think the Congress and the opposition has almost forced the Prime Minister to react to its campaign on the possibility of the Constitution being changed should Mr. Modi come back to power.
Which is very interesting, because it's actually a kind of switching of places. Usually you see the Congress constantly reacting to what the BJP or the Prime Minister say. Now you're seeing the Prime Minister and the BJP reacting to what the Congress has said in its manifesto, which is interesting, and we are deep into this election. Final question, Rajdeep, with this wealth redistribution promise, Samvidhan khatre mein hai, that reservations will be erased by the BJP if they come to power, all those things that the Congress is saying, do you see them as back in the game? For the longest time, this conversation has been about the 2024 election being a foregone conclusion. This is not about, whether the BJP will win, but by how, but what kind of margin or what kind of numbers it will win by. So the simple question I'm asking is the Congress, in your view, in some way back in the game?
Shiv, I really don't think that the opposition is back in the game in that sense, because in politics, you need more than just the narratives that are made in speeches. I would say that the opposition is still playing catch up. the Prime Minister had a head start, particularly after the victories in the Assembly election, the Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha. But what you do recognize is that when you travel on the ground is that there are real issues out there. Agrarian distress in large parts of the country is real. The job crisis is real. Now, all these issues in some parts of the country are resonating. The question, of course, is the opposition good enough and cohesive enough to take advantage of some of that anti-incumbency on the ground? My sense is at the moment, no. It's very patchy. There are parts of the country where the opposition is certainly competitive, but there are other parts where the BJP and Mr. Modi remain dominant. So I don't think you can say that the Congress and the opposition is back in the game, but certainly this campaign that they've launched, that the BJP is out to change the constitution, has managed to gather traction in some parts of the country, Shiv.
Okay, not quite back in the game, but some traction and engagement definitely visible, no less than traction from the Prime Minister at his rallies themselves. Rajdeep, appreciate that perspective, very, very valuable, helping us understand what this flashpoint really means, politically speaking, right in the middle of the 2024 election. So just to summarize some of those big questions that I have, and I'm sure our viewers also have, so we have a definite shape of this conversation that we're having on 5 Live. Number one, is the Congress manifesto really dominating the campaign agenda for the BJP? Has everything else been pushed aside? Now it's only about attacking the Congress manifesto. Is that a switching of roles? Number two, has the Congress's wealth redistribution guarantee in some way unnerved the BJP? Has Prime Minister Modi's attack put the Congress on the back foot? Does that explain its silence and refusal to debate beyond just some cursory replies? Number four, why is the Congress refusing to aggressively fire back at Modi? You got some perspective from Rajdeep on that, on perhaps why they've decided not to engage with full vigor. Number five, is the Congress silence in some way to deny Modi the engagement that he probably wants by attacking the Congress party so aggressively? Number six, is the Congress wary of being drawn into a communal/religion narrative when their guarantee, they say, is about poverty reduction? Number seven, is the Congress's tactical silence to preserve the Garibi narrative rather than get into a polarizing narrative which they see as the BJP's turf? Number eight, is this temporary traction for the Congress party and the opposition, or is the Congress really back in the game? All of these are important unfolding questions, but we're going to try and get some perspective from Mausami Singh, who tracks the Congress inside out from the ground, from their headquarters and from across constituencies in the country. Mausami, I'm sure one part of the Congress party must be quite validated, quite enthused by the fact that their manifesto is now fueling speech after speech by the Prime Minister. It's an interesting turning of tables where it is the BJP that is reacting. It's usually the other way around. What are you hearing from within the Congress party? They appear to be quite careful not to, give the BJP the engagement that the Prime Minister is perhaps looking for.
Shiv, perhaps, there'll be much reading between the lines when Congress refuses to go on debating the frontal attack that the Prime Minister has launched recently in the past few days over the Congress's manifesto. Because importantly, as you said, turning of tables, the BJP with its mammoth electoral machinery have very, very rapid and hands-on surveys and feedbacks that are given. And certainly they have some feedback on the Congress manifesto clearly. And that's one reason that, after the first phase, strategically, earlier in the first phase, the Prime Minister had launched an attack calling the Congress manifesto the Muslim League manifesto. And there's a very pointed attack after the first phase of elections, again on the Congress's manifesto over the entire Sri Dhan Rao. So clearly the BJP is doing its homework as the contours of the election campaign change daily, and the euphoria and the rhetoric do play on the minds of the people. So I think the BJP is playing to the gallery. But the Congress, as you said, certain
Yes.
sections could be very upbeat about the fact that it's great that the Prime Minister is flustered, and the narrative is that they haven't got very good feedback over the first phase, and that's why the Prime Minister is attacking the Congress. But are you really in the game? Are you really there on the ground? Or is the Prime Minister's attack really to the point and hammering as far as reaching out to the voters is concerned? Is that what the people are believing? And is your counter narrative, as far as your counter attack, really formidable if you don't send people to talk about what the Prime Minister is saying? That's a strategy one can question. But
Absolutely.
really, the Congress does feel that they're in the game once the Prime Minister has been continuously raging against the Congress.
See, this is the reason why I bring in, India's best political reporting team, including Mosby, in on stories of this kind, where there is little clarity of what the insiders within the party actually think. Because what Mosby has said is very important. She says that while the Congress party might be feeling upbeat about what the BJP has been saying at these rallies, the BJP, remember, has the advantage of having very quick real-time feedback from the ground and may actually be using what it is hearing from the Congress manifesto and the first phase to course correct, to calibrate, and to sort of sharpen its strategy going into the other attacks. So it may not entirely be advantage Congress. It could be beneficial to the BJP as well. Mosby, appreciate that perspective. Thank you very much for joining me on the show. Prime Minister Modi is speaking in Mahasamand in Chhattisgarh right now. Let's quickly and briefly listen.
विश्वासघात करना जानती है। कांग्रेस कभी भी गरीब की पीड़ा नहीं समझती। सोने के चम्मच लेकर के पैदा हुए लोग गरीब मां का दर्द क्या होता है वो कभी नहीं समझ सकते। मोदी समझ सकता है, वो जिंदगी को जी करके आया है, गरीबी को जी करके आया है। कांग्रेस ने 60 साल तक देश पर राज किया, लेकिन कभी उनको ये चिंता नहीं हुई कि क्या कभी गरीब के बच्चे भी भूखे सोते होंगे, क्या गरीब के घर में भी कभी चूल्हा नहीं जलता होगा। मोदी इस दर्द को जानता था और इसलिए मैंने मुफ्त राशन की योजना चालू की और आज गरीब को मुफ्त राशन मिल रहा है। भाजपा ने ना सिर्फ इसे लागू किया बल्कि एक गारंटी भी दी है कि ये योजना अगले 5 साल जारी रहेगी, मुफ्त राशन मिलता रहेगा। कांग्रेस को कभी ये चिंता नहीं हुई कि गरीब के पास, मेरे दलित परिवारों के पास, मेरे आदिवासी परिवारों के पास इलाज के पैसे कहां से लाएगा। और हम तो जानते हैं कि परिवार में कोई मां बहन बीमार हो जाती है ना, तो परिवार के लोगों को बताती तक नहीं है, वो सहन करती रहती है, काम भी करती रहती है, पीड़ा सहन करती रहती है। क्यों? उस मां के मन में रहता है कि अगर बच्चों को पता चल गया कि बीमारी है, अस्पताल तो ले जाएंगे, लेकिन इतना खर्च आएगा कि संतान कर्ज में डूब जाएंगे। अपने संतान कर्ज में डूब न जाएं, इसलिए हमारे देश की माताएं बहनें दर्द सहन करती थी, पीड़ा सहन करती थी, लेकिन परिवार को भी बताती नहीं थी और कभी कभी मौत को आलिंगन दे देती थी। ये बात मैं जानता था। तो फिर ये आपका बेटे का दिल्ली में बैठने का क्या मतलब? क्या मतलब दिल्ली में बैठने का? वो दर्द, वो पीड़ा मेरे दिल में थी। क्योंकि आपके बीच से निकल के रहा था, आपने मोदी पर भरोसा किया था। आज छत्तीसगढ़ के लाखों परिवारों के पास 5 लाख रुपए के मुफ्त इलाज का गारंटी कार्ड है।
And to the Karnataka murder horror, which we're getting you an update on right now. There's breaking news coming in. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has just spoken with the Congress corporator Niranjan Hiremat on the murder of his daughter Neha Hiremat at the hands of her friend Fayaz on campus 5 days ago. Law Minister H.K. Patil has visited Neha Hiremat's family in Hubli in Karnataka today and made a phone call to Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, who spoke to the girl's parents. The Chief Minister assured Neha's family that he will take steps to fast-track his daughter's case and ensure that justice is delivered. Remember, the CID has taken over the case at this point. Okay, we've got more breaking news on this Hubli stabbing case coming in right now. The fight between the ruling Congress and the BJP is escalating because the BJP has made it a very big political issue. Karnataka, remember, goes to the polls in one part at the end of this week. A Congress minister in the Karnataka government has called the stabbing of Neha Hiremat accidental. Imagine that. A Congress minister has called the stabbing of Neha Hiremat accidental. The stabbing, the murder of Neha was caught entirely on camera, and there obviously was nothing accidental about it. It was cold-blooded murder. The BJP obviously has hit out at these claims and says that the Congress government is attempting to derail the murder probe by injecting an accident motive. The Congress, they say, is trying to protect the accused, Fayaz, who murdered his friend Neha Hiremat.
ನಿನ್ನೆ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಆಕಸ್ಮಿಕ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಘಟನೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ವಿಷಯ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊಂಟಾರೆ ಇವತ್ತು. ಇಡೀ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಅವರು ಇವತ್ತು ರಾಜ್ಯ ತುಂಬಾ ರೋಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪತ್ರಕರ್ತರು ಬರದೇ ಬರೀತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಇಂಥ ಘಟನೆಗಳು ಆಕಸ್ಮಿಕವಾಗಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟಾಗಿದಾವೆ.
India Today, Sagai Raj has been reporting on this story from the beginning. Sagai, what did this minister mean to say? I mean, is it really possible that he's called this murder accidental? Was it a slip of tongue? You know, the BJP says he's trying to set some kind of a narrative. How could he call it accidental?
Absolutely. It is quite insensitive statement by the Minister Shivanand Patil where he has called this particular incident as an accidental, and he has also said that there are similar kind of incidents, there are similar kind of murders which has been reported across the state of Karnataka, but the BJP is trying to get political mileage of it ahead of Lok Sabha election, making a issue out of it, setting out a narrative by the BJP. In fact, the BJP is getting a political mileage, but the statement, it seems to be quite insensitive, where the people are criticizing that these kind of incident where the entire state has been shocked after this particular murder, this kind of insensitive statement is not going well with the people as well as the family members of Neha Hiremat.
I wonder what the family is going to say when they're asked about this comment by a minister on a day when Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has assured action and a fast-track justice system for Neha Hiremat. Neha Hiremat, you've got a minister in the Siddaramaiah government saying this murder was accidental. Incredible what politicians will do in this day and age. Thanks, Sagai, for that update. We're taking a very quick break here on 5 Live. On the other side, we're staying with Karnataka. It goes to the polls at the end of this week. Like I said, Hanuman Chalisa has reignited on Hanuman Jayanti. All of you remember what happened just a few weeks ago in Karnataka with a man playing the Hanuman Chalisa in his shop being beaten up on Friday. Well, Prime Minister Modi has talked about that assault, and we'll tell you what it has triggered.
तेरा गेम रिकॉर्ड कोई तोड़ ही नहीं पाता.
एक बार मैं तोड़ दूंगा.
So smooth, yeah. Time up. Get your own.
Moto G64 5G. Unleash the beast.
India cools down in 10 seconds with Hexa Inverter, heavy-duty air conditioner. Higher, more creation, more possibilities.
ग्रेच्युटी का चेक है, बस इन पैसों को हम कहीं इन्वेस्ट कर दें, जहां हमें इनकी चिंता ना करनी पड़े और रेगुलर इनकम भी आती रहे। फिर बस
तो फिर फिक्स्ड इनकम म्यूचुअल फंड्स में डाल दीजिए।
म्यूचुअल फंड्स में डाल दीजिए ना।
अरे पापा, फिक्स्ड इनकम म्यूचुअल फंड्स चुने हुए इंटरेस्ट बेरिंग कंपनी बॉन्ड, गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड और मनी मार्केट में पैसा डालते हैं, इक्विटी मार्केट में नहीं। और सिस्टमैटिक विड्रॉल प्लान के जरिए आपको ऑन द डॉट फिक्स्ड अमाउंट भी मिलती रहेगी।
म्यूचुअल फंड्स में फिक्स्ड इनकम वाली बात सही है।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
घर रुंगटा स्टील से बनाया होता तो रईस यहाँ से नहीं आ पाता। रुंगटा स्टील का यही कमाल, एक बार लगे चले सालों साल। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार, एकदम सॉलिड।
सुप्रीम के 9000 से भी ज्यादा प्लम्बिंग एंड ड्रेनेज प्रोडक्ट्स और वाटर टैंक्स बने हैं क्वालिटी रॉ मटेरियल्स एंड इनोवेटिव डिजाइन से। सुप्रीम टोटल पाइपिंग सोल्यूशन, जीवन भर का साथ।
India cools down in 10 seconds with Hexa Inverter, heavy-duty air conditioner. Higher, more creation, more possibilities.
सुप्रीम के 9000 से भी ज्यादा प्लम्बिंग एंड ड्रेनेज प्रोडक्ट्स और वाटर टैंक्स बने हैं क्वालिटी रॉ मटेरियल्स एंड इनोवेटिव डिजाइन से। सुप्रीम टोटल पाइपिंग सोल्यूशन, जीवन भर का साथ।
Complete even lapse from the institutional side also. So I have instructed the DC to send the notice to every institution, not only Hubli, the 31 district DC. I'm going to send the notice to all the DC to send the notices to every institution to send them what precautions, what safety measures do they have for the students and women who are studying. If anybody just come, throw the acid, anybody comes, kill in the compound of the premises, how can this happen? Is this only minting money for you all?
तुष्टीकरण के कारण ही चाहे फैयाज नाम हो, चाहे इस्लाम नाम हो, चाहे सलमान नाम हो, उन लड़कियों का दोष क्या था जिसे कर्नाटक में चाकू से गोद दिया। वहां की सरकार मूक दर्शक बनी है। ये तो ममता बनर्जी के राज में ये सारे चीज होते रहे हैं। अब कर्नाटक बंगाल से टपना चाहती है। ये देश इसे बर्दाश्त नहीं करे।
Over the Vidhan Sabha throne. Will the BJP come back to avenge the assembly loss?
Co-presented by
आपका जॉय भारत का जॉय, जॉय ई-बाइक।
Co-presented by
ग्रीन लैम लैमिनेट्स, कुछ मेरा कुछ तुम्हारा। पावर्ड बाय MP Birla Cement Perfect Plus, Concrete Special.
Co-powered by
Parul University, Vadodara, Gujarat. Co-powered by Panasonic AC for smart homes. Signature Finest Silver Elaichi, a premium product from Dilbar. Supreme Total Piping Solutions, जीवन भर का साथ।
It's Hanuman Jayanti today, so how can Hanuman Jayanti politics ever be that far behind? The big showdown over Hanuman Chalisa between the BJP and the Congress has escalated in election season, starting with Prime Minister Modi, who launched a big attack on the Congress party at a rally in Tonk in Rajasthan, where he invoked the infamous Hanuman Chalisa Rao. Prime Minister Modi slammed the Congress, saying that the party had insulted Lord Ram and Hanuman. Here's how.
बजरंग बली की।
Over a month after the attack on a shopkeeper in Bengaluru for allegedly playing Hanuman Chalisa at his shop during the time of Azan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi raises the issue in an election rally at Tonk in Rajasthan. Modi on Tuesday claimed even listening to Hanuman Chalisa had become a crime under the Congress regime.
कुछ दिन पहले वहां एक छोटा दुकानदार, उसको सिर्फ इसलिए बुरी तरह से पीटा गया, लहूलुहान कर दिया गया, क्योंकि वो अपनी दुकान में बैठे बैठे हनुमान चालीसा सुन रहा था। आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं, कांग्रेस के राज में हनुमान चालीसा सुनना भी गुनाह हो जाता है। अपनी आस्था का पालन करना भी मुश्किल हो जाता है।
Many murders in Karnataka from last.
Karnataka leader of opposition R. Ashok echoed Prime Minister's views, claiming attacks on Hindus have become more frequent under Siddaramaia's rule. The Congress meanwhile hit back, accusing the Prime Minister of deviating from issues of price rise and unemployment, among others.
What our Prime Minister is saying, what happening in Karnataka? There is no value for the Hindu blood in Karnataka. Everywhere threaten, murder, Congress government just keep quieting.
I pity the Prime Minister. Despite ruling this country for 10 long years, still you need Muslims to be abused and get into power. If the Prime Minister says that in Karnataka no one can play Hanuman Chalisa, then he is insulting the Kannadigas, 6.5 crore Kannadigas. He is insulting the Kannada culture.
Karnataka's Law and Parliamentary Affairs Minister H.K. Patil urged the Election Commission to take action against Prime Minister Modi.
ಮೋದಿಯವರ ಆ ಉಚ್ಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಲಘುವಾಗಿ ಗಮನಿಸದೆ, ಲಘುವಾಗಿ ಪರಿಗಣಿಸದೆ ಸೋಮೋಟೋ ಪ್ರಕರಣವನ್ನು ದಾಖಲು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಮೋದಿಯವರ ಚುನಾವಣಾ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಯಿಂದ ಉಚ್ಚಾಟಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಅವರನ್ನು ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ.
The attack on a shopkeeper for allegedly playing Hanuman Chalisa had sparked protest in the city a month ago. BJP leaders Shobha Karandlaje and Tejasvi Surya had led the protest. Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, once again, brands synonymous with the Indian household have come under the scanner in a foreign country. Iconic Indian masala brands worth thousands of crores, Everest and MDH, which everyone knows about because they are in everyone's houses, are now facing the heat for allegedly being laden with carcinogenic pesticides. Food safety regulator in India, the FSSAI, has now started taking samples of spices of all brands, including MDH and Everest, from across the country after Hong Kong, Singapore and other countries have actually banned the use and the sale of these spices in those countries. Take a look.
The brands we have always associated our cooking with, trusted and loved, these popular Indian masalas have become an integral part of our kitchens. But the king of masalas, MDH and Everest, are now under the scanner for having beyond permitted levels of ethylene oxide, a pesticide classified as a carcinogen, in 3 MDH products: Madras curry powder, mixed masala powder and sambar masala, and Everest's fish curry masala. Singapore has recalled Everest's fish curry masala imported from India, citing the presence of ethylene oxide that raises the risk of breast cancer and lymphoma. Hong Kong also has recalled these products, terming them unfit for consumption.
Ethylene oxide is an organic compound. It is a highly flammable gas, which has various industry uses. Since it is a highly reactive compound, exposed to human body beyond a certain limit, can cause DNA damage. This DNA damage over a prolonged period of time can lead to various cancers that include stomach cancer, breast cancer, lymphomas and leukemias in human body.
According to the pesticide residues in food regulation, food for human consumption containing pesticide may only be sold if consumption of the food is not dangerous or prejudicial to health. Ethylene oxide is a pesticide that is not authorized for use in food. It can be used to fumigate agricultural products to prevent microbial contamination. It is banned in the European Union, but the regulation and use of ethylene oxide in a number of countries, including Canada, the US and India, is very different to the UK and EU. These countries still allow the use of ethylene oxide as a fumigant. Pesticides are chemicals designed to ward off organisms, unwanted organisms in our agricultural produce. The problem arises when they get into our food chain. That is something that has to be avoided. It can lead to poisoning. Even short-term exposure can lead to poisoning and other problems like diarrhea, dehydration, and also skin irritation.
Ethylene oxide overall has been banned since early 1920s, which was initially used in pesticides because of these side effects like neuropathy and central nervous system depression. Ethylene oxide can affect your brain, nerve, like whether it is central nervous system or the peripheral nervous system. So when it affects brain, it affects your attention, it affects your memory, it affects your concentration, it affects your judgment, it makes you slow and clumsy. In high doses, it can also lead to symptoms of Parkinson's, which can be slowness, stiffness, tremulousness, stiffness of the body.
It is not the first time the two Indian companies were asked to withdraw their products from overseas markets. In June last year, the US Food and Drugs Authority had asked Everest Food Products to recall its two products, Sambar Masala and Garam Masala, also Maggi Masala, that had tested positive for Salmonella. In September 2019, at least 3 lots of MDH's Sambar Masala were withdrawn from the US after the FDA tested them and found them to be positive for Salmonella. This incident raises several questions on the quality of the products that we are sending outside of India. Not just that, the quality of the products that we are consuming within the country. In New Delhi, Sneha Mordani for India Today TV.
And Sneha joins me live. She's been tracking this story and the fallout here in India with the FSSAI deciding to take samples from across the country to test it. What's going to happen now, Sneha? You know, Everest and MDH are, legacy brands in the country. They are household names. They are easily worth thousands of crores, considering how many, millions of boxes are sold every day in India. What happens ahead? What is the health ministry going to do now?
So the pesticide essentially, which is in fact of great concern here, is ethylene oxide. Remember that this is the pesticide which is banned by countries in the European Union, but not by the US, for example, not by Canada, not by India. So different norms for different countries, and that is what is leading to this whole confusion around the spices. Now, even in India, the regulators essentially allow the use of this pesticide only for fumigation, but they shouldn't be getting into your food chain. They should not be getting into the final product is the concern. And what Singapore and Hong Kong has found is that this particular pesticide got into the final product. FSSAI, which is the food safety regulatory body in India, it comes under the Ministry of Health, has decided to do a nationwide check of samples of many of these products. Remember, MDH and Everest are very, very popular products in India, even outside of India. And these are really used by just so many people. So a nationwide check is going to be done by the FSSAI as far as the products in India are concerned. Because even if they're present, this particular pesticide pesticide is present in the masalas in India, it's of concern. EU, for example, has banned the complete use of this pesticide, even for fumigation purposes. So there's a difference there. And the other kind of check that is being looked at is that the Spices Board of India essentially asking MDH and Everest to give answers as to how this happened. Now, MDH essentially has said that one of the 60 products that have now been sent to Singapore has been picked by Singapore. So they've also now have to give an explanation to the Indian Spice Board as to how this pesticide eventually got into the food chain, got into that dabba of masala that just so many people purchase, like I said, in India and even in outside of India.
Very concerning, and we hope to see a resolution to this very, very soon. We'll try and get a word in from both those companies as we continue to track that story very closely. Sneha, thanks for that perspective. Keep watching India Today. Up next, Indian Premier League with Nikhil Naz. Coming up right after this break.